They say the house remembers the blood, the screams, the silence that followed.
And if you listen closely, in the stillness, you might hear her footsteps, Lizzy's or someone else's.
The Borden murders shocked a nation, but it's the spirits left behind that keep the story alive. Doors open on their own, cold spots, whispers with no source. They say it never really ended.
Welcome to Story Seekers, where we dive deep into myths, legends, and the paranormal and the history behind it.
I'm Shanae.
And I'm Laura. Light a candle, don't look behind you, and join us as we enter the lingering darkness of the Borden house.
Dun dun dun. Lizzy Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. Drip, drip, drip. I heard that rhyme so many times growing up, especially when we visited my grandma in Fall River. She had a bit of an obsession with the old Lizzy Borden case, the murders that happened back in 1892. Every time she sat down in her worn-out blue chair by the window, she'd hum that tune under her breath, always the same soft, eerie rhythm. One weekend we were visiting for a few days. Grandma was crocheting in her chair and I was on the floor coloring in a book Ma had brought to keep me busy. Everything was normal, quiet, until Grandma suddenly stopped. She laid her hook down gently in her lap, looked right at me and said, "You know we're related to her." I blinked up at her, confused. She held my gaze for a moment and then added quieter, "To Lizzy, we're the same blood, and we all carry the same curse. You should know this, child. Your ma never believed me, but you should know." "What curse, Grandma?" I whispered. She looked out the window as if remembering something far away. "The same one that made my sister kill her parents." Then, just like that, she picked up her hook and yarn and began counting stitches again, like nothing had happened. I sat there frozen, my crayon in midair. Drip, drip, drip. That night I cried in my mother's arms. "I don't want to kill you, Ma," I sobbed. She stroked my hair and whispered, "You won't, darling. She's just a senile old woman. You won't hurt her, sweetheart." But later, I heard them, Ma yelling at Grandma behind closed doors. The words were muffled and angry. I couldn't make them out. Drip, drip, drip. Years later, I found out it was true. Grandma's sister had killed their parents, left Grandma alive, disappeared that night, never to be seen again. I still don't know if we're actually related to Lizzy Borden. Drip, drip, drip. But now, standing here in my nightgown, hands trembling, knife slick with something warm and red, drip, drip, drip. Maybe she was right after all.
Oh, I like that. Do you believe in, I've asked you this before actually, do you believe in like a family curse? Something like that that's going to really affect your mental health? If you got told that, would
Yes, but I also believe in generational trauma,
Yeah.
which I think might be the same thing.
Yeah.
Like a curse might be generational trauma. Just
Yeah, and also possibly like the possibility of underlying mental health issues.
100%. Yeah. What is a curse if not a mental thing that just runs in the family? Especially if it's like, if it happens every few generations, people most likely will call it a curse eventually. Yeah. Did you like my little bit of an American accent there?
I heard it coming through.
I tried, but I didn't want to try too hard. Because if I try too hard, then I go Cali.
Too Cali girl.
And Lizzy Borden, it's not California, it's Massachusetts. So, thank you.
Yeah,
Please tell us about Lizzy Borden and the house and the creepiness.
Yeah. So Lizzy Borden was born in 1860 in Fall River, Massachusetts. She was born into a wealthy but extremely frugal family, and lots of people have commented on her father, Andrew Borden, who was a self-made man. He was rich but not generous at all. Like, for example, people say he refused to install indoor plumbing even though they could afford it, and sometimes like he was just a very, very stern man. There's reports of him being a very stern man. The Borden sisters, Lizzy and her older sister Emma, lived under the tight control of him and their stepmother, 𝑒𝑐𝑒 Borden, who Lizzy reportedly despised. So already you've got like the very typical, I feel like the skeptics out there, you've got like a very typical opening to a horror movie where someone's going to snap. You've got like the evil stepmother.
Evil stepmother, that's what I was thinking.
A girl who's under pressure with her dad in a family, new family kind of thing. There's not a lot written about Lizzy's mum, her biological mum, just the stepmother. So the household was definitely tense, and the relationship between the daughters was strained. Lots of arguments about money, inheritance, and control. It was a pressure cooker. But for me, I don't know how you feel. Whenever you hear about true crime or something going wrong, it's very mixed. Sometimes it's like you can understand why people did this, but other times people can come from the best and most outgoing families, and then like it's just something within them that snaps. But it's like already,
it's the age-old thing of, is it nature or nurture?
Yeah.
Were they made that way, or were they just that way to begin with?
Because like, I mean, I had a very easy life as a teenager, but I know a lot of people who had very, very, very difficult upbringings.
Oh yeah.
And they're fine. Didn't do anything like this, but obviously we still don't know what went on behind closed doors, and I'll get into like the speculation later. Some people say she did do it, some people say she didn't, and we'll talk about why. So the murders themselves, the morning Lizzy claimed she was in the barn looking for a piece of lead to make fishing sinkers. The maid of the house, Bridget Sullivan, had been ordered to
Was she a fisher? Like, did she...
Very random.
Yeah.
Like, very young girl, teenage girl.
Especially one that's apparently a little bit of a snob.
Yeah. You can imagine she probably was, yeah. But the maid, Bridget Sullivan, had been ordered to wash the windows in the heat. And that was when 𝑒𝑐𝑒 Borden was struck down upstairs. A short time later, Andrew was murdered as he napped on the sitting room couch.
Andrew is her father.
Yeah, and 𝑒𝑐𝑒 was the stepmom. So it was like completely like they were just going about their normal lives when this happened. There was no like physical signs of a struggle. It was just like you could see why people automatically thought it was her, whether you believe it or not, because it had to be someone in the house. They weren't startled. Both of the people were bludgeoned with what police would later refer to as a hatchet. The scene was horrific.
An axe.
The scene was horrific. Blood splattered on the walls, the ceilings, the floors, and it was not a clean crime. Very personal, and it was overkill. But yet, Lizzy didn't appear to be covered in blood. And you can imagine, like...
That would be difficult to hide.
Yeah. We were, like... Because there's so many true crime things, and we're so, like, accustomed to seeing pictures like this, it kind of... I'm not a serial killer, but it kind of, like... You glaze over it sometimes. I've seen some pretty horrendous crime scenes.
You definitely get desensitized.
Yeah,
you definitely get desensitized with media and stuff.
But this was like, for the time, it was completely like...
It would be dramatic.
Yeah, so dramatic. I can't imagine being like the first police officer to walk into the house and just
probably
like,
vomited.
Happened?
Yes, especially if it's in a place where stuff like that just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That's like a city
Small
thing,
town,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of the focus is centered on the trial itself. Very quickly, the finger of suspicion pointed to Lizzy. Why? Number one, so she tried to buy prussic acid, which is a type of poison, the day before the murders. Why a 14-year-old girl was doing that? People asked, but she said she was sent out on an errand to buy this, but didn't give a reason why. Her statements to the police were inconsistent and very odd. Days after the killings, she burned a dress in the stove, claiming it was stained with paint.
That's something. Yeah, I'm just burning my dress.
Yeah.
Okay.
The maid, it says the maid was cleared. I don't really know how, if the maid was also in the house. The maid was just cleared. The sister was out of town, and the only person left was Lizzy. In June 1893, she was put on trial. The courtroom was packed. Journalists from across the country descended in on the quiet town. She appeared composed, almost cold. And it's one of those things like, now people have a lot of training on how to behave in the courtroom, but it's interesting that at the time, this young girl has had her parents killed. No matter what your relationship is with them, if you saw that, you would be traumatized.
Of course.
I guess people deal with grief differently, in different ways.
Well, how did she, what was her demeanor in court?
Just says she was composed and very cold. The prosecution painted her as cunning.
Say, she was 14.
Yeah.
I never realized she was that young. I thought she was almost in her 20s.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they painted her as cunning and full of resentment towards her family. But the defense countered with one key fact. No physical evidence linking her to the crime. No bloody clothes. No eyewitnesses. No murder weapon with her fingerprints. And in less than 2 hours, the jury returned with a verdict of non-guilty. So this is something when I did...
It's very short.
Yeah, when I did the play of this, we never ever were told that she wasn't guilty.
Oh, yeah.
Until I researched
Did you mention
this.
that you've done the play?
No.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Please tell us, Law.
All-girls school, very dramatic kind of drama projects that a few of us were involved in. I think I was someone like witness number 5 or something. I was something like not interesting at all.
No name.
We all had to do the Lizzy Borden took an axe, all perfectly synchronized, which is probably quite frightening.
Very creepy.
So there's lots of speculation about the crime, and it's still going on to this day. Many, including those who believed in her innocence at the time of the trial, still consider Lizzy to be the most likely perpetrator, citing her erratic behaviour and contradictory statements after the murders. Strained family relationships, in particular Lizzy's alleged dislike of her stepmother and stepfather. Apparently in court she was very open about how much she disliked them. So she wasn't trying to protect herself or hide anything. She was saying,
which it probably was good for her.
Yeah, worked in her favour, definitely. And
because there will be people that know you personally, that goes, she hated her. And if you're up there saying, oh no, I loved her. Yeah. That would be a good telltale.
So a lot of people knew about her dad and how kind of strict and frugal he was. So people, they had experience of him. So they kind of almost had her back with that, I guess.
Okay.
And you've got to think, most of the jury, I don't know how many of them will have known Lizzy. I guess in quite a few of them, whereas now it would be completely, what do you call it?
Anonymous.
A conflict of interest.
Yes.
If you know somebody.
You can't know too much about the case.
No.
Which I think in today's day and age with all the true crime is difficult.
Yeah. So several other figures now have been suggested as potential culprits, including Lizzy's sister Emma.
But she was
apparently out of town.
Mm.
The family servant, Bridget Sullivan, and rumoured lover, and even...
But she was 14.
The rumoured lover of Lizzy's father.
Oh.
And even reported illegitimate son was also another
this
figure
is getting juicier and juicier.
Mentioned, yeah. Other things people mention, some theories suggest that there was an incestuous relationship between Lizzy and her father or stepmother, with the murders being a result of jealousy or a failed attempt to protect herself. And obviously mental instability, the possible the possibility of Lizzy being mentally unstable or suffering from a mental illness is also being considered as a potential explanation. Obviously, if she's killed her
There's
parents,
something mentally. There's
not
something
quite right
not
there.
right. Yeah.
While the exact events of that fateful day in Fall River, Massachusetts may definitely be known, the Lizzy Borden case continues to captivate public imagination. Afterwards, she walked free, but not unscathed. She changed her name to Lisbeth and moved into a new home she called Maplecroft. But
That's a cute name.
Yeah, cute. Like, especially if she was innocent, like she definitely tried to have a normal life.
Yeah, she really wanted to get away from that.
Society never let her forget. She was shunned, whispered about, mocked, and even in death, she shares a cemetery plot with the family she was accused of destroying.
Oh.
No one else.
Which is heartbreaking if she really was innocent.
Yeah, truly innocent. She couldn't just ever live a normal life, which is the same as now. Like, even if you're, you go through even the prison system in the US, and then you're released because you don't have enough evidence, people still link you to the crime, and that's all you're ever going to be known for.
Yeah, it's going to be part of your reputation for forever.
So she was shunned, whispered about, mocked. No one else was ever charged. And the murders of Andrew and Abby Borden remain officially unsolved. Never been solved.
Huh. I never knew, because before I write stories, for those of you that don't know, we write our stories ourselves. So I try and avoid the history, but I do a quick, just a skim. Maybe I'll watch a video or two about someone talking about it, a TikTok or something like that. Something short so that I don't get too much information, because I do want to learn. I want to learn from Laura if she's telling me the history.
Yeah.
And it was said that there was a play, and I had never known that there was a play, which makes a lot of sense. And also a movie came out a few years ago.
Yeah,
that I've never watched
in the media now, which is great. I've not watched it either. I'd quite like to watch it, I think.
Yeah, we should watch it together. Do a little review.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Movie review. Let us know if you want to hear a movie review from us.
So now, I've just quickly mentioned how it's kind of influenced media and culture. So her story lives on, but not just in history books. Films and TV, a movie, even a metal band called Lizzy Borden.
Oh, I think I know. I think I've heard them.
I have, yeah.
Very cool.
And of course, the haunting nursery rhyme, Lizzy Borden took an axe. The rhyme exaggerates the number of blows it was fewer than 40. And Abby wasn't her mother. She was a stepmother.
That doesn't rhyme very well, does it?
No, her stepmother.
What was it, 10 wax?
40 wax.
No, I mean the actual
number.
one. Yeah.
It's in the 20s, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she became the boogie woman of New England, and she was a symbol of violence, female rage, and the unknown darkness that can live behind prim Victorian lace. And in today's world of true crime podcasts, murder, documentaries, and forensic fascination, her case feels very modern. Out of all of the episodes we've done, it's probably the most.
It is dabbling with true crime, which is not something we really do. We don't really delve into true crime, but the Lizzy Borden house is apparently haunted.
Yeah.
And you can actually go on a tour at the house, and they show you where the body lies. And I did see a clip where if you go up the stairs, you can look into the room where the mother was in.
Okay.
And you can see underneath the bed, because the bed is right in front of the door, and you can see straight through the door to the other side. And that's where the mother was. So apparently, I might be telling a lie, but I think the maid said that she had gone up the stairs.
Right.
And as she went up the stairs...
That's when it happened.
No, that's when she saw, the body on the other side of the bed. To be mistaken, I just remember hearing something like that.
Okay.
But yes, you can go on a tour, and it's also a bed and breakfast. You can go spend a night in Lizzy Borden's house.
Definitely would.
Oh, we always say this, but we are going to
Yeah.
one day.
One day, a grand tour of all the haunted places.
When we grow up, we will do haunted tours and travel to America.
Yeah. I wanted to end with this. I think it's really interesting that there's not a lot of evidence. There never has been. That's why she was never convicted. No one was convicted. But it's like an example of how sensationalized things were. When you think about people having trials in courtrooms now, it's so popular even on TV. You've got to think back then, this would have been one of the first public, like...
Oh, they were excited.
Yeah. People traveling from up and down the country just to see this firsthand. Like, it would have been crazy to watch.
Yes.
Report on.
True life, true crime.
Yeah. That's the real legacy.
That's it for today's episode of the Story Seekers. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the dark and haunting history of Lizzy Borden.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. It really helps us keep exploring these eerie and fascinating stories.
And let us know. Do you think Lizzy did it? And would you go and stay in the Lizzy Borden haunted house? Goodbye.
Goodbye.